I didn't pay attention. They was reading.
Ready to go, man?
Inshallah, you guys ready? Bismillah walhamdulillah. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutation upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his family and his companions, and upon all those who follow, upon his guidance, establishment of the last day. proceed يا إخوان فنواصل معكم إن شاء الله تعالى في هذه المحاضرة إن شاء الله تعالى. So we continue with our program بإذن الله تعالى في كنوز Ramadan, with some of the treasures of Ramadan مع أخينا في الله وشيخنا سيف الإسلام حفظه الله وسلمه الله من كل سوء ومكروه.
Oh, it's on.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Since we're going to have a little quiz, a little competition, have a little bit of a review, but to talk about a couple of things from Ibn Kathir very quickly, and then I'll give it to the staff. We've talked about looking at breaking the fast. We've talked about the aspect of the person traveling or in doing so. And there's a lot of consternation that comes a lot of times. People will say, well, no, it's Ramadan, and whether you're fasting or not, you should fast. And we'll say, no, but there was an exception granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, again, from some of you may tell, there are a lot of other, not a lot of it, but noted tafsirs of the Quran. The one that's really dear to me is Ibn Kathir, although there are others that I've looked at. And but one of the reasons is that it's one of the ones that's been translated. And there's a very good one called Tafsir Ibn Kathir, 114 surahs complete. The download is free. Translation as much as I can tell, is pretty good. And so it allows you to be able to look at the ayahs of all of the surahs and learn about the Asbab al-Nuzul, the reason the surah was revealed, or ayahs from the surah came down, hadith associated with it. And so thus far it's been pretty good. So we know that the Quran was revealed, it's begun to be revealed during Ramadan. And there are a couple of circumstances here, just some information. And there's one I spoke to Ustad Naeem about it because of what it says. And so from the beginning, I'm going to tell you, Ibn Kathir has this here. And from Imam Ahmed, who reported it, he placed it in his tafsir. Some of the shuyukh, some of the mufassirin say that this is not a sahih hadith, but it gives you an idea about the importance of the month of Ramadan. So the virtues of Ramadan and the revelation of the Quran in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Shahr Ramadan. Alladhi anzala fihi al-Quran. The month of Ramadan in which was revealed the Quran. Allah praised the month of Ramadan out of the other months by choosing it. This is Ibn Kathir. To send down the glorious Quran just as he did for all of the other divine books he revealed to the Prophet. So Imam Ahmad reported from Wathila bin al-Asad, that Allah's Messenger Sallallahu said, the suhuf, meaning pages, the suhuf pages of Ibrahim were revealed during the night, the first night of Ramadan. The Torah that was given to Musa salam, was revealed during the sixth night of Ramadan. The Injil that was given to Isa ibn Maryam salam, was revealed during the 13th night of Ramadan. And then in this narration, it says Allah revealed the Quran on the 24th night of Ramadan. Now, someone would rightly raise the question of, but there's the other hadith, Sahih, saying that it was revealed in the last 10 nights of Ramadan and on an odd night. Okay? This may be the basis why some of the Mufassirin do not look at this as being Sahih. Okay? But here the point is to again emphasize the importance of this month of Ramadan. Okay? All right? So, the virtues of the Quran, again, this is what Allah said, have they here a guidance for mankind and clear proofs for the guidance and the criteria between right and wrong. Here Allah praised the Quran, which He revealed as a guidance for the hearts of those who believe in it and adhere to its commands. Allah says, "But the enact clear proofs, meaning as clear and unambiguous signs and unequivocal proof for those who understand it." So, as has been said on more than one occasion, those things that we have to do in terms of just say the 5 pillars, Bunyan Islam al-Khams, are pretty crystal clear. Okay? Abu Dhar al-Ghafari was reported to have said that when the Prophet died, he made the statement that Islam knows best, that there wasn't a bird that flew in the sky that we did not know everything underneath its wings. Here he was referring to the point of the fact that as far as the deen was concerned, there was nothing that was ambiguous about what needed to be done to seek Allah's pleasure and mercy. It was clear. Okay? And it has remained clear. The confusion comes from us as Muslims. When we don't take the time to seek knowledge purely for Allah's sake, and we don't do anything, we open ourselves up to be misled by individuals who have the intent of misleading. Okay? And there's so many examples to think of, but I'll show you one that I'm talking about. And for some of you, this happened before you were born. Okay? When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, known as Luau Sender, became Muslim, he got associated with a group of Muslims in Washington, D.C. And the imam of this community was from the city that I was in at the time, Gary, Indiana. And there was a huge, for lack of a better expression, massacre that took place at this mosque. Some individuals out of the Nation of Islam attacked this mosque and killed women and children and brothers who were in the mosque. Okay? But the focal point here is the brother who was the imam of the mosque later on took hostages in the B'nai Birth Center in Washington, D.C., a Jewish place. Okay? And a person, one or two people were killed. And it was some individuals from Egypt who approached him, got him to give himself up without anybody else being killed. But in the course of this conversation taking place, one of the things that happened was that they showed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was one of the pallbearers for the people who were killed. But in talking about one of the things that happened there was, and this is why it becomes so important to seek knowledge. They talked about the fact that in this masjid, if the brothers and sisters were present in the masjid and it came time for prayer, the imam there, in his thinking, he was from Gary, Indiana. In his thinking, because between the difference between wudu and ghusl, he said, wudu is not enough to make the salah. So if you were in the masjid, his instructions were to make a complete ghusl, take a complete bath. Whether the conditions existed for the bath as we knew it being taken. So here you had brothers and sisters, they had showers in the masjid. The Adhan called for dhuhr. If they were there, go in, take a shower, come back out, and pray the salah. He determined because that the ghusl was washing the entire body, it was better than just performing the wudu that had been commanded by Allah and His Messenger. And again, we've been told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what the Prophet gives us to take, and what he tells you to leave. And he described how we prepare for salah. And he described saying what the conditions were if ghusl needed to be made. Okay? Having ghusl or full shower. Okay? So we have to be, and so I can't judge this person's intentions. Notice I didn't say that his intentions were wrong. He who made the choice may have really thought in his intentions that it was better seeking Allah's pleasure and standing before Him, having made the ghusl. That's not my question, my point. The point is, it was wrong. To tell the people and then enforce it on them, if you belong to this community and you're making salat, it's time for salat, you need to take a full bath. Wudu is not enough. Go specifically against what the Prophet taught. So, in here, when Ibn Kathir says it's a guidance for mankind, not only a guidance, he also refers to it as being a criterion as well, denoting what it is we do, what Allah has commanded that we can do and what we can't. And giving the example of the Prophet ﷺ in following that, following Allah's injunctions. So, one last thing concerning the aspect about traveling, as we talked about. We're looking at the quiz, just to give you some information. If by chance there's a question in here about what is called, what you do when you feed a poor person, if you have a legitimate reason for missing the day, or you're the elderly person who wants to fast but can't, and then you're going to feed this person or person, what is that called? Can someone tell me? What's the term used? Yes and no. Kefara, if he has to make up something, he says kefara. That word kefara comes from the verb kafara, which means to clothe or to overcome or to conceal. Okay, and yes, that is there. But there's another word here that's used for that person who at the beginning of Ramadan, they're not making up a day. Okay? They're not making up a day. He's an elderly person. He or she can't fast. They choose to feed 34 people. Fidya. Fidya. Fidyah. Fidya. Okay? What our beloved Imam is talking about, which we don't want to be in that situation where we missed the day, broken it, and it wasn't for a reason allowed to break it. And now you have to make up, you have to cover that aspect of doing it. Okay? So, another possible question. And Talita asked me about this question this morning, okay? To see if she had a proper understanding. Okay? All right? So, when the very first ayahs come concerning fasting, and you're a healthy person at the time, you're alive at the time, did you have to fast or could you choose not to fast and do something else instead?
In our community or others?
No, at the time that the revelation came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about Ramadan, okay? And you're a healthy person, the adult. Did you have to fast or could you do something else in lieu of fasting? Huh? You had to fast. How many think you had to fast? How many think you didn't have to fast? The didn't have it, okay? Because in the first circumstance, when the ayat came, it didn't designate. So if a person was healthy, they wanted to pay the fitya, feed 30 people, they could do that. No harm, okay? But what's the number of the ayat in Surah Al-Baqarah that changes that? Sister Danielle. Right? 2185. Okay? 2185. That's the ayat that changes it. But in that ayat, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you're in your house, and you recite the Quran in your place of living, so forth and so on, it's incumbent upon you to fast. And then He gives the exception. If you're ill or old, and you want to fast but you can't, now you can pay the 50. Okay? So here we have a circumstance of 185th ayat abrogated, quote unquote, the ayah that came before it in terms of a healthy person, male or female. Okay, it took away that option of them saying, okay, I don't want to, I don't want to fast this month, so I'm going to pay for 30 people to eat. They will help. It took that away. So now, healthy, you're in your house, you cite the now, the information on it, then it's a couple of okay. I'll end with this one, and let the staff main come for a little bit. Okay? Who can tell me what's the name of the door in paradise that will call out for the names of the people who have fasted purely for Allah's sake? Huh? Not Riyadh. Huh? Arayan. Arayan. Okay? Okay? That's the door. Now, another trivia question. What happens to that door when the last person whose name is called enters into it? It locks, okay? It's locked, okay? Who was the person in another hadith that asked this question of the Prophet ﷺ? The Prophet spoke about there's a door for jihad, a door for salat, a door for fasting, a door for zakat. Who was the person who asked the Prophet ﷺ this question? Will there be individuals whose name will be called from all five doors? Now, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and in asking that question, what was the answer that the Prophet ﷺ gave? Huh? He told him yes, and then said to him, "Ya Abu Bakr, I hope you will be amongst them." Okay? Is it coming back now? We talked about this? Okay. So, a question. Might be a trivia question. There was an extremely famous battle fought during Ramadan that the future of Islam and the Muslims hinged upon how this battle turned out. Can someone tell me which battle this was? Badr. Okay. I don't know, Stan. Brothers might do pretty good this time. They might do pretty good this time. So Battle of Badr. Okay, Battle of Badr.
Question. At what period of time during the lifetime of Surah did the Ramadaan become a pretty
Good question.
What was the question?
The question was like, when did the fast during the night? Was it like the first while they were in Mecca, while did Revelation come while they were in Medina, or what? Or when the time that Ramadan became obligatory? You know, Steph? In Medina.
Second year.
Okay, second year of Hijrah. And that's a good point to make because things change now. Okay, you know, they're moving into a situation of Islamic State, government, so forth and so on. All right, the question was, when was, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, did the ayahs came? And Imam Rani correctly said it came in Medina during the second year of the Hijrah. Okay. And I was saying that once the Hijrah is made, the circumstances change as to what was going on in Mecca. Okay. Now there's an Islamic State. The Prophet ﷺ is not just the commander of the faithful. That has a lot of different hats that he wears. He's commander of military, treasurer, political, religious, the whole shot. And it's a different circumstances that Muslims are dealing with. So now different things come in terms of governing that experience that they draw upon. Any questions from anyone? Everybody ready for the quiz? One of the questions that will arise because a lot of Muslims, unfortunately, for whatever the reasons, a lot of those best look at Ramadan as being a hardship. Those who aren't Muslim, oh my goodness, you can't eat for 30 days. What is an answer that you could give in either case from the Quran in terms of what Allah says that He wants from us? Before us, that's one. Very good. Is there another one in terms of that is not a burden for us? In terms of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran. Huh? In terms of that, Allah says in the Quran, it's not difficulty that He wants for us, but ease. Okay? So in that aspect of it, Ramadan, from our perspective, is not a difficulty. It's not a hindrance. It's not a burden. It's a welcoming opportunity to get closer to Allah. Okay? So I'm going to turn it over to Ustad Naeem. Anything that I said that was correct is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the mistakes that I made for myself. If I have made them, may Allah forgive me and you as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
طيب فنشكر شيخنا وأخونا في الله على هذه الموعظة المباركة الكريمة، ونسأل الله تعالى أن يضعها على ميزان حسنات يوم القيامة، إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. So we ask Allah Ta'ala that He rewards our beloved Shaykh, our beloved brother, Sayyidul Islam, Hafidullah, may Allah preserve him, and then He allows this or that tremendous reminder to be in his scale of good deeds يوم القيامة. فإن شاء الله تعالى يا إخوان نأخذ شيئين إن شاء الله تعالى، ثم نأخذ شيئا ما إذا أنتم تريدون ذلك من الامتحان بين الرجال والنساء إن شاء الله تعالى. So before we take our small review quiz, where our brothers are going to spank up, before we take our small review quiz, inshallah, just wanted to mention two small points, inshallah ta'ala. And remember, inshallah, we're going to intend through Ramadan to try to continue to increase ourselves in knowledge. As we mentioned yesterday, لا يمكن يا إخوان أحد من الناس أن يمر بكل شيء يتعلق برمضان في 3 أيام أو يومين أو 4 أيام. هذا مستحيل. As we mentioned the other evening, يا إخوان, it's impossible to learn everything or even mention everything generally or in detail about those things that are connected to Ramadan in 3 days or 2 days or 4 days. So we have tried our best to mention some benefits, inshallah. So I just wanted to mention 2 more points. And then for whoever remains, we're going to have a small reminder or so, a small quiz between the brothers and the sisters, a trivia, if you will. طيب فاكتبوا هذا العنوان يا إخوان. So write down this title. Write down this title. طيب عنوان أو أنواع بعض المفطرات. Some of the things that break the fast. Some of the things that break the fast. سنذكر بعضها إن شاء الله. We're going to mention some of them إن شاء الله تعالى. We're going to mention some things that break the fast and some things that the fasting person can do. طيب أما الأول هو الأكل. الأكل متعمدا. The first thing I want you to write down from those things that break the fast is eating intentionally. Don't just pick eating, because you're going to make a mistake there. There are 2 types of eating, or rather 3 types of eating. One of them is allowed and 2 is not allowed. Don't just pick eating. So pick al-aklu al-muta'ammidu, eating intentionally. This excludes what? Eating accidentally. If you eat accidentally, you didn't break your fast. If you're truthful, صادقا صدقا مخلصا لله وأنت أكلت شيء على الخطأ فأنت لا تزال صائما. So if you're fasting and you accidentally eat, accidentally, and you're truthful, sincerely, you didn't do it on purpose, you made a mistake, your mind wasn't there, and you're still fasting. You continue to fast until the morning comes. Right? So the first one is eating intentionally. طيب والثاني الشرب متعمدا. Number 2, drinking intentionally. Drinking intentionally. وهذا يخرج, and this excludes what? Drinking by accident. You forgot that you were fasting, or you forgot it was Ramadan. That may happen. You may make a mistake. So Islam comes to clarify that mistake you're not held accountable for. And you're still what? You're still fasting. You're still fasting. One time we was at the gym in Ramadan and you're working out. That's why it's not recommended to do working out and issues that may make your body weak. For example, it's allowed to work out, but it's not recommended. Or you do a light workout. But to work out in Ramadan like you were before Ramadan, you may make yourself break your fast. For example. So you forget, you go to the water machine, and you go to drink. If you actually forgot, and you're truthful and you're sincere, you forgot, you're sinful. You're not sinful. Five, number three, al-jima'. Number three, having relations with your wives or your husband. On purpose. Huh? I don't know if I can play. Having relations with one's wives or with one's husbands. Number four, there are no young children here right now yet, Juan. Play. Inzal mani muta'ammidan. Now this one here, we're trying to say in a nice manner. Number four, deliberately making the fluids that a man has and the fluids that a woman has, deliberately making them come forth on purpose, not by accident. Accident, there's nothing held accountable. You're not blamed. On purpose, to deliberately cause or try to cause those fluids that a man has and those fluids that a woman has to come down on purpose, this breaks your fast. Kim Moroccan Abdul Hakim, what number you got? Number four.
Number five now.
Five. Number five. وقوع الحيض. The woman being on her menses. The woman being on her menses. So number one, deliberately eating. Number two, deliberately drinking. Number three, having relations. Number four, causing those fluids that a man has or a woman has to come forth. Number five, the woman or her menses. Number six, an-nufasa. Number six, the woman on her postpartum bleeding. Two more, ya ikhwan. Number seven, al-ridda, apostasy. The person leaves Islam. They just broke their fast and they just broke their Islam. Apostasy. Okay. Apostasy. Number seven. Number eight. You guys got number eight? Number eight, استعمال إبري المغذية. Number eight, using those needles that have inside of them in place of food. Something that you can get nourishment by way of an injection. Huh? Something like that. Like not every needle, not every injection. But if your body can get nutrients from this injection, then that breaks the fast. A saline, that's food. If it's food, if it's in a place of food. If I'll say it like that, inshallah. I don't really know what that is, but if it is, if it's in place of food, that's the point here. Not any injection. You go to the. If the depends on the medicine, have to be specific. If the medicine is in place of food, no, not 2 feet, ikhwan. Injections. Like vitamins, injections like that. If these things can, it depends on the type of injection. Depends on what it is exactly. If you get an injection because you're in a lot of pain, so it's like a Tylenol, but in your arm, in your leg. That's not the point here. That's a food injection. It's in place of food.
Nutrition.
Protein, nutrition, something like that. So it depends on the type of injection. Just put injection or needles that stand in the place of food, whatever it is. And the last thing, inshallah ta'ala, skip a line. ما يرخص للصائم أن يفعله أثناء صومه دون أن يفطر به. The next point, and we'll stop here, a few points here. Some things that the fasting person is allowed to do. Right? Some things that the fasting person can do. And they do not break your fast. Some things that the fasting person is allowed to do. Is allowed to do. طيب الأول, the first one, القبلة والمباشرة. The brothers that are married, skip a line, new topic. Things that are allowed, write this down, ikhwan. Things or some things that the fasting person is allowed to do. Apostasy. If someone is Muslim and they leave Islam, and one of the ways a person can leave Islam, either by believing in something that takes you out of Islam, or by failing to do something that not doing it can take you outside of Islam. Islam mentions that if a person was Muslim, ثم رد عن الإسلام هذا أفطر صوما. That if the person leaves Islam, this breaks his fast. He's no longer Muslim. So we learned that fasting is only obliged upon the Muslim, not the non-Muslim. They can fast, but it's not obliged for them to fast. The one who leaves Islam, apostate, rejects Islam. طيب, number one, القبلة والمباشرة. Number one, for the married brothers and sisters, kissing your husband, kissing your wife, and I would just say ikhwan, doing those things that, not the action itself after Isha, not that, but the things that can lead to that. That's called mubashira. So the introduction, foreplay, mashallah. Foreplay and kissing does not break your fast. However, you have to be wise. If you are a man or a woman, as it comes in the hadith, and you don't have the ability to control your desires, then it's not recommended to hug your wife. Some of the younger brothers, as it comes in the narration, should not hug their wives, kiss their wives while they're fasting, because they have no control. But some of the older brothers, mashallah, older sisters, alhamdulillah, they can hug and kiss their wives, and it's only a kiss. Some of the other brothers, they kiss, they have to go make a ghusl. They have no control. So it's allowed to kiss and to have foreplay, but you have to be wise. You know yourself. If you're a person that you can't control yourself, and you wait till after Isha, or I'll talk to you after Ramadan, I'm going to spend the time in the masjid, or I'll see you tomorrow, no problem. But don't do something that you know is a cause or can be a cause of breaking your fast. That's in anything. Things can be allowed generally, but maybe not for you. Maybe not for me. Maybe not for him. If you know yourself, you can't control your desires, you don't have your desires in a closet, in prison, then don't do it. Don't risk a moment of pleasure for fasting 2 consecutive months, freeing a slave, or feeding 64 people. It's not worth that. So kissing and the foreplay is allowed generally, but you have to know yourself. طيب. What number, ya ikhwan? Number 2. Al-ghusl. It is allowed to shower yourself, to relax. You may get hot. You may be hungry. So you want to cool off. It's allowed to make a ghusl. It's allowed to make a ghusl, to wash yourself. A shower of relaxation. You want to cool off. can take a shower, you can relax. You can put your head under water and let the water come on the back of your neck to relax. That's allowed. Number 3, as-siwak, using the miswak. It's allowed. But you have to be careful again with swallowing the juices in the miswak. Generally, it's allowed to use the miswak at any time. Recommended. Before the salah, you have to get some miswaks, everyone, before Ramadan, inshallah. Before the prayer, it's highly recommended to use the miswak. When making wudu, highly recommended to use the miswak. When your breath changes, highly recommended to use the miswak. When you get up at night, highly recommended to use the miswak. All of them have adillah. When you're fasting, the ruling stays the same. Highly recommended. But you have to be mindful. If you don't know how to use a miswak and not swallow those tastes there, you have a real miswak. It has the minty taste, mashallah. When you first open it up, it smells nice. Not the one that we have nowadays when they're not really real. So while you're using the miswak, you don't swallow those minty tastes, but you spit them out. You don't eat the bark as it's going to fall in your mouth. You spit it out. You're still fasting. But you can use the miswak. You can brush your teeth also. But you have to, once again, if you can't control your mouth and you're afraid you're going to swallow the toothpaste, then don't do it. Anything, take this as a principle. Anything that's allowed to do, but you're afraid, if I do it, I may break my fast. Don't do it. Something can be generally allowed. But if I'm afraid, I can go to the gym, yes. But I'm afraid that I'm going to work out, I'm going to drink. So either lighten your workout or don't go. Work out after Maghrib. Work out before Fajr, for example. So using the miswak, and you can hit / brushing your teeth. What number, ya ikhwan? Number 3. Number 4. Tadawwuqu ta'am, tasting food. Tasting food is allowed for the fasting person. And yadhuqa ta'aman. And yadhuqa ta'aman. It's allowed for the fasting person to taste food. As Ibn Abbas used to mention, there's no problem in tasting food. Once again, you have to know yourself. Take that as a principle. If something is allowed, but you're afraid that if you do it, and you do it incorrectly, you're going to break your fast, then don't do it. The brother asked, how does tasting food not break your fast? In Islam, you can put things in your mouth while you're fasting, and your nose. But you can't put it all the way in, where it comes behind your throat. Because your taste buds are on the front of your mouth. Your throat is in the back of your mouth. Your taste buds are on your tongue. Not on your gums, not on your throat. Your taste buds are on your tongue. So you taste it, you taste.
Don't taste it.
Don't taste it. If you're afraid, it's not for you. Write that down there. Understand that? That's going to help you tremendously in Ramadan. Some things are allowed to do. If you're afraid, like Abdullah says, if I taste it, I'm going to eat it, then you can't do it. Know yourself, ya ikhwan, and be honest with yourself. What this sister can do, you might not can do. She could be stronger than you. He can be stronger. That's fine. Know yourself. Be truthful. Be honest with you. Yawm al-Qiyamah, you're going to be asked about you. So if Abdullah can't taste food, he smells the cheesesteak, he's going to lick it, he's going to bite it, he's going to swallow it. You can't taste it. Sheikh Jihad might can taste it. Alhamdulillah, Sister Maryam, that's ready. And now he spits it out. I might not can do that. I don't taste. Know yourself. What number, ya ikhwan? Number 5. Qaturatu al-udhun, using eardrops are allowed. Using eardrops are allowed. Usually eardrops have nothing to do with food. They're usually to clean out the wax, or if you have an infection or something like that. But be mindful. Look at make sure it's not something in the place of food. Usually it's not. Airdrops generally are allowed. And one more we'll say is Qatlatul Ain, using eye drops. Using eye drops usually have nothing to do with food. So they use it to clean out your eyes, to remove the redness or the stinging from them, help with moisturizer or moisturizing your eyes. So there are just some things that you're allowed to do. We'll save the next chapter, inshallah, for the first couple of days of Ramadan. The things that the scholars differ on. These things are unanimous. All of these things, every madhab agrees to, every scholar agrees to. But there are some things in Islam that some scholars say is allowed, while other scholars say it's not allowed. Like, who can mention one before we start our test? Something that if you're fasting, the scholars differ. Imam Ahmed said it's allowed, Imam Shafi said it's not allowed. What's an example? All of them. Tasting food is allowed, unanimously. What you have written down, nobody argues. Trying to give you the asas, the origin. What's something, Ikhwan? We don't really have that a lot in Canada. I've never heard no one ask for this service, but it's tremendous to do. Some of our older brothers know this. The hijama. As the sister says, getting cupped. Getting cupped. Cupping is a tremendous remedy. Sometimes you have high blood pressure. Sometimes headaches a lot. Sometimes you have a lack of vigor. Sometimes you have, and if the person is skilled, they're going to tell you what the areas in your body, each area is for a different benefit. If you have headaches, there's certain spots in your skull, you can do the cupping at. If you have back pain, certain spots in your back, you can do the cupping at. There was a sister in Philly years ago. She used to do seminars for the women only in cupping. Just tremendous influence. A lot of our pain comes from the dead blood that resides in our body. So cupping, you take this bad blood out. And if you see it done, if you have a strong stomach, because it may make you spit up, even while you're getting it done. At any rate, you see the dead blood coming out of the cup, pouring out of your body. The person's going to take a razor. They're going to cleanse the razor. If you're doing it in your skull, they're going to shave either your whole head or part of your head, bald, and they're going to snip you up a little, and they're going to light a match into the cup, and then blow it out, and then put the cup on your skull. If you have a camera or a mirror, you can see that your blood changes. How it's going to go from a cloudy blood, that's the dead blood in your body, and then until it gets to that blood, and then that's when you stop. But at different spots for headaches, pain, memorization, many of the salaf used to do it for memorization, back pains. The scholars differ. Some say it's allowed to cup while you're fasting. Some say it's not allowed to cup. Strong of the opinion that it is allowed. If you don't fear, because you're going to get weak. That's why you shouldn't get cupped while you're fasting, because now you're going to be weak and you're going to need some nutrients, and most likely you're going to break your fast. Right. So the things that you have, alhamdulillah, every scholar agrees. There's not one that argues those things there, alhamdulillah. And now, inshallah, we'll take our small little quiz between the brothers and the sisters. The sisters get a little close. The brothers get a little close, inshallah. How we're going to try to do it is, you guys can talk amongst yourself, but it's going to be one answer for the women, one answer for the brothers. We're going to play a team. So not multiple answers. Everyone works together. You can agree on your answer. You can agree on your answer, inshallah. We'll try to keep score. May Allah bless everyone. Maybe it's 5 or 6 questions or something like that, something easy, inshallah. Maybe 10, maybe 6. So our first question is for our brothers. We have the brothers and we have the sisters. Brothers versus the sisters. So If the brothers don't, if you don't get it right, the same question will be posed to the women. If the women don't get it right, the question will be posed to the sisters. طيب.
I wondered if somebody was gonna say that. I wondered if somebody was gonna say that.
طيب. Question number 1. سؤال الأول. We'll ask questions to both teams and see who gets it right, and then say who's right at the end. Question number 1. ما معنى الصيام في اللغة? What's the meaning of fasting in the Arabic language for the brothers? One answer for the brothers. One answer. No notes. No notes. Only from you with each other. No notes. Inshallah. Everything. So the brothers, they say certain withholding, certain time, specific people, with the intention of seeking closeness to Allah. We won't mention who's right or wrong until we see what the sisters say. Question was, same question, what's the meaning of fasting linguistically? Specific withholding from specific people at a certain time. The intention. Right, the sisters say a specific withholding from specific people at a specific time with the intention of seeking closeness to Allah. Both groups were wrong. One answer per group. So both groups were wrong. Fasting linguistically. Y'all both gave the answer of fasting Islamically. Y'all were right. That just wasn't the question.
Right.
So linguistically.
She said linguistically. She didn't say it.
Y'all both were right, but for a different question.
Right.
The answer of fasting linguistically is al-imsak, to refrain, to withhold. So 0 to 0.
Nah.
Question number 2 for the brothers. ما هو نوعين يعلم العبد دخول رمضان? What are the two ways? What are the two ways that the Muslim knows that Ramadan has begun? What are the two ways that the Muslim knows that Ramadan has begun? One answer. Our brother said,
And a witness for the person who comes to tell me.
Brother man.
Y'all learned it too. Knowledge is knowledge. Y'all learned it also. Sighting of the moon. One answer. Sighting of the moon. What's your second answer? Sighting of the moon and a witness. That suffice with that. Like, sisters, the two ways that the Muslim knows Ramadan has begun.
So we say sighting of the moon, and the calculation.
Like the brother says, sighting of the moon and the witness. The sister says, sighting of the moon and calculation. The sisters are correct. The witness, Ikhwan, is the sighting. That's together. So 10, one answer. Y'all one group. One masjid, one masjid. One madhab, one madhab. 10-0. Each question is 10 points. Number 3.
Let them go first this time.
Number 3. Number 3. Who's the narrator of this hadith? Who's the narrator of this hadith? Tasaharu fa inna fi sahuri baraka. The Messenger of Allah says, have the pre-fast meal, but verily in it or in the sahur is a blessing. Who is the narrator? The sister say Anas ibn Malik. That's your final answer? That's your final answer?
Yes.
Anas ibn Malik. Who is the narrator? Have the sahur, but verily in the sahur is a blessing. Our brothers say Anas ibn Malik. Both groups are correct. 20-10. All right, number 4. We termed our lecture "The Treasures of Ramadan." One of the speakers said that the treasures of Ramadan in reality is the treasures of what? The sister go first this time. Sister says treasures of Islam. The brother say treasures of Islam. Both teams are correct.
Yes. We need to play just like Jeopardy.
Maybe we'll change the question so y'all can't use each other. I won't give y'all the same question. So y'all won't cheat. Tayyip, for the brothers. Mention the tayyip, for the brothers. And the verse that Sheikh Saif mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, where Allah Ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Where Allah Ta'ala says, O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you, just as it was prescribed for those that came before you, so that you will obtain taqwa. Mention the 3 benefits that were mentioned about this verse. Mention 3 benefits that were mentioned about this verse. O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you, just as it was prescribed for those that came before you, so that you may obtain taqwa. Benefit number 1. That the nation that came before fasted. That's one. That's your team? Or just work together? He mentioned 1. That fasting was obligatory upon those that came before. 2 more. That's fine. He mentioned 1. It's got to mention 2 more.
Yeah, it was made obligated.
Fasting is obligatory.
For the Muslims.
Fasting is obligatory on the Muslims. Also upon the nation that came before.
That we may have
The goal of fasting is taqwa. Like the goal, the main objective of fasting is to obtain taqwa. So 30-30. Our sisters, your question is, what's the meaning of prayer Islamically? What's the meaning of prayer Islamically? Not in the language. Islamically. That's your team?
Yes.
The sisters, they say specific words, specific actions that begin with Allahu Akbar, end with Assalamu Alaikum, with the intention of seeking closeness to Allah, and that's correct. All right, 30 to 40. Our sisters are winning. 40 to 30. All right, number 5. For the brothers, the month in Islam can only be this amount or this amount. 29 or 30 days. As a team, the brothers say the month in Islam can only be this amount of days or this amount of days. 29 30. The brothers say 29 and 30. The brothers are correct. Tie score. For our sisters, we've learned 4 benefits of having the sahur. What are they? 4 benefits of having the sahur, the pre-fast meal. What are they?
Time's up.
The sisters, they say?
It's highly recommended.
Good.
It distinguishes you between Jews and Christians.
Good.
It strengthens you.
Good.
And there's blessings.
MashaAllah. The score is 50 to 40. Fine, for our brothers.
Just take 5 points of
For our brothers. Mention 5 things that you're allowed to do while you're fasting. You can taste food, eardrops, eye drops. You can kiss, foreplay. That's 4, 5. Eardrops, eye drops, tasting food, kissing. Needed without nourishment. MashaAllah. Right.
50 points for that, right?
High school. For our sisters. Mention for our sisters. We're going to mention a scenario. You have to explain it. 2 sisters are fasting the same day in Ramadan. One of the sisters have to make up the fast. Two sisters are fasting in Ramadan. They complete the whole day. They fasted the exact same way. They began the exact same time. They stopped the exact same time. One of the sisters have to repeat their day, and the other one doesn't. Why? They both fasted. They both completed their fast. They both started at the same time. They both ended at the same time. One of their fasting is accepted. One is not. So she has to repeat her day. What is she missing?
She didn't make her attention.
Did not make her intention. That's correct. She passed without an intention.
Yeah, but you can make your status at the beginning of Ramadan, not do it again.
There are two ways. There are two ways. That might be a question.
Okay, for the brothers. The circumstance. I want you to complete the rest of this hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said that he was asleep and two men came to him. What proceeded after that? The Prophet ﷺ was asleep. He said two men came to him and took him somewhere. Where did they take him? And what did he see?
Two men.
A dream.
Well, one of the things we saw was punishment for people who did that.
But he said two men.
This is not this world.
Okay, speak up. So the question is, where did they take him?
But a better question, what did he see? What did he see? He was taken to a place. Okay, once he got to that place, he heard something. He asked them, what is it that I'm hearing? And they told him something, and then he saw something. What was it? Right. Okay, good. Right. Broke their fast, right. Okay, cool.
All right, so the brothers got that one correct.
We can't hear anything.
Okay, the question was that, oh, they could, they gave the correct answer. The question was, from me to the brothers, was that Prophet ﷺ had a vision, which two men came to him, took him to a particular place, to a mountain. Now, the question after that, what did he see? And what was it that he saw in terms of who it was? They said that he heard the howling of people and asked who was it. And they said these were the people that were being punished, people held being punished. He saw them as they described, hanging by their hamstrings, their mouths were torn open, they were bleeding from their mouths, and it was told to him that these were the people who broke their fast. Intention.
Sorry for the sisters.
So it's tied 50-50. Or 66, I'm sorry.
For our mothers, question for our sisters. We learned the two opinions of the scholars with regards to making your intention for fasting Ramadan. When does the person have to make the intention for fasting Ramadan? There are two opinions. What are they? The first one. Where's your group? You gotta work together. Work together. The question was, when you're about to fast on Ramadan, you have to have an intention. The scholars mentioned two positions regarding the intentions of fasting on Ramadan. What are they? When do you make them? Or make it? Okay, the beginning of the month, the night before for the whole month, one intention for the whole month, and the second opinion is you have to make additional niyyah every day. Like, yeah. 70 to 60.
For the brothers, there are two positions concerning amongst the shuyukh, fuqaha, as to whether a person who doesn't fast the month of Ramadan at all should be able to make it up or not make it up. Okay? What are they? Okay.
Work together.
Right, work together. Let me embellish the question so it's clear. They give a specific reason as to why a person may be allowed to make it up or they shouldn't be allowed to make it up. They can't make it up.
No, talk to
Yeah, talk to the group. We want to give a half credit. We want to give a half credit.
5 points.
We'll give 5 points.
5 point. What's your answer?
Okay.
Well, the first one is that not accepted, but they didn't do it in the pattern which is supposed to be done, in the time frame that's supposed to be done. That's the first one.
Okay. All right. The question was that we looked at for the people who intentionally who don't fast, not someone who starts to fast and breaks it. They never fast. Okay. There were two opinions. One opinion said that they could make it up. Sheikh Ibn Baz said, in his opinion, that they could make it up. And Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen said no. Okay. And they gave the first one. Okay, that it was okay. He said because not being able to do it because it wasn't done in the prescribed time period that it was supposed to be done. The time is gone. So if the person did it, it would never be accepted. Okay. They didn't get the second part. The second one is for those who say that it can be made up, is because it's one of the pillars. It's a fall. Okay, and that they're still responsible for it, so they should be allowed the opportunity to make it up.
So Ibn Abbas said yes.
Huh?
Sheikh Hussein said Ibn Abbas.
Sheikh Ibn Baz. Sheikh Ibn Baz said they should be allowed to. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen said no.
Oh, yeah. Give them that. So the score is 70 to 70. The next 3 points win.
You gave them half credit.
Oh,
70-65.
sorry. Sorry, brother.
You know they keep the score, brother.
They gave you a half point for that. For our sisters, the question is, who is fasting upon? Who is fasting obligatory upon, meaning in the month of Ramadan. The Muslim? That's your final answer?
No, we got more.
Who is fasting Ramadan obligatory upon?
What's the reach the age?
Final answer?
Well, that's true.
What is it?
Every Muslim that we said that they have to reach the right age,
A Muslim that reached the right age?
and those that are at home.
Those that are at home? Okay, that's it. What's your final answer? Final answer. Too much time. 5, 4. Y'all said Muslim. And then y'all said reach the age of puberty. Y'all mentioned
Yes,
two.
the ones that are at home.
A resident. Y'all mentioned 3. Final answer?
Yeah, do you want more?
Yeah.
Answer however y'all feel. That's your answer. The sisters they say a Muslim who reached the age of puberty and who is a resident.
The missing one.
So we'll give them 3 out of 5. What's that percentage wise? More than half. So we give them a half on that one.
Okay.
So 75, 65. Like same question for our brothers.
Well, give them the rest of the answers.
Give them another one. Okay, the answer for the sister is a Muslim, al-baligh, who reached the age of puberty, al-muqim, a resident, al-sahih, who's healthy, the one who is aqil, who has his sane mind, and that's it. So y'all miss. I didn't say name any. I said is fasting. Listen to the question. Listen to the question. I said fasting is obligatory upon who? Y'all didn't complete. This is it. You ain't say completed. If y'all know it's 5, why stop at 3? Right, next question for our brothers. Let's finish. It's time to pray. Right, for our brothers, score is 75, 65. For our brothers, what's the meaning of the word Ramadan, linguistically? The brothers say it means to burn.
No, Harold.
So the score is 75, 75. You got it right.
You got it right.
It means to burn. Right, for our sisters.
You get happy.
Right, next 2 questions win. Next 2 correct answers win. Right, for our sisters, they go first. Nice one. أذكر المكثرين في الحديث. Mention the 7 most memorized hadith from the Messenger of Allah عليه الصلاة والسلام. We mentioned that there were 7 companions of the Prophet of Allah who memorized the most hadith. Who are they? It's for the tiebreaker too.
We're writing it down.
Okay.
Who are they? There are 7. Work together.
Yeah.
10 seconds. You can write it down, but no notes.
I'll write it down.
Like, all right, 5 seconds for the sisters. That's Canada, only Canada. Only Canada.
You didn't know? You don't have to read your notes.
No, we got permission. We got permission.
To write it down. No, to write it down.
I'm just going to rewind my tape. I'm gonna play that. All right, here we go.
Okay.
The sisters, they say, Abu Hurairah, Aisha,
Stay,
Zayd,
Jabba,
Jabir,
Anis,
Anas,
Umar,
Umar.
Abdul.
Which one?
There's only one Umar.
Okay.
Okay.
Who did you say after Umar?
Abdul.
Okay, the sisters say Abu Hurairah, Aisha, Zayd, Abdullah, Umar, Jabir,
Anis.
and Anas. Okay. So the sisters have 2 mistakes in there. Zayd is not there, and Umar is not there. No, y'all said Zayd. Zayd should not be there. And Umar should not be there. 7.
What else did we have?
Another question.
So the answer,
No, they
the answer, y'all mentioned Zayd. Zayd is not from the most memorized. He didn't narrate the most, and Omar didn't memorize the most. Didn't narrate the most either. Abu Hurairah, Aisha, Ibn Umar, Abu Hurairah, Aisha, Abdullah bin Umar, Ibn Abbas, Anas, Jabir, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, and Anas ibn Malik. Y'all missed 2. Y'all shouldn't have Zayd, and y'all shouldn't have Umar. So we'll give y'all 5 points for that. Abu Sa'id. Now 80 to 75.
80 to 75.
So we give y'all 5 points anyway. 80 to 75. You want to get the brothers? For the brothers, your question is.
Right. So they got 7 questions.
For the brothers, mention one hadith with the narrator, the words of the prophet, and where is that? From all that we learned this weekend. Just mention one hadith, the narrator of the hadith, and what book is it? We learned so many hadith this weekend. Mention one hadith that we learned in Arabic, who's the narrator, and what book is it? We learned many hadith. This one, the way the prophet said it, who's the narrator, and one book is in. Only one. And we take the lead of the system. There's one hadith. In Arabic. Only one. How many hadith we wrote down here? One. The sisters will have the same question, inshallah.
No, we're done.
They done? Okay. That was the second question. So this is on the brothers. If the brothers win this one, they get it, they win. It's 80 to 75. Y'all in the week, believe by 5. If they get it, they get a whole 10. It'll be 85. No other turn. Just the last question too.
But that's it. No. What is their question?
Mention a hadith in Arabic, the narrator, and what book is it? Just one hadith that we learned this weekend.
3 answers to our 7 answers?
Okay, she got a point.
But they gotta say it in Arabic though.
We had to make sure the name was correct. You said it wrong.
I don't know if we have an answer for 3 out of 7 answers.
No, they got to
Work together, Islam. Work together. One hadith that we learned, the narrator, and one book is in. That's it.
Can they have a mic?
Inshallah, they sure can.
He gonna bring it over too.
That's the request. That's the request. I'm neutral. I'm in the middle of the message. Look, see, I'm right in the middle. If you stop by the door, I'm right in the middle. One hadith. Okay, no problem. The brothers are requesting. Can they say it in English?
No.
Just say no. You don't gotta be verbatim. Special ability. Who's the narrator? What book is in? From all the hadith that we learned this weekend. That's the main thing we learned. Hadith after hadith after hadith. Yeah, right. The brothers say they pass that to the sisters. Okay, we're going to. So if y'all, the brothers don't answer. The brothers they forfeit it. If y'all get it right, y'all win. So now the final score was for the sisters 80, the brothers 75. So that's our final score. But they still got more points. If y'all already got some of it, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all to say it. All you had to do is get 5 points and tie it up. I had to say it verbatim. But all you had to do is get part of it and you have to tie the score. So we'll stop there, Juan. And the question was any hadith that we learned. You could mention any hadith from the weekend. But who narrated it and what book is it? The one I was hoping that the brothers were going to say was the hadith. The Messenger of Allah said, all of you have this hadith. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Narrated by Omar. Collected in Bukhari and Muslim. All of us have that hadith. All right, so we'll stop there. This concludes our program. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll break for salah. And I believe we have some food later. Once again, we thank Allah ta'ala firstly. We thank all of the people who have helped and assisted in making our program a program of benefit, inshallah ta'ala, and a virtue and a blessing. And lastly, we'd like to thank Masjid Noor and the Imams of Masjid Noor and the administration of Masjid Noor for allowing us to have this program this weekend. We tried our best to mention some of the virtues of the month of Ramadan and fasting in this blessed month of Ramadan. Anything that we said that's correct is from Allah. Anything we said that's incorrect is from ourselves. Wa jazakum Allahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
One other thing would want to mention that I pray that as is mentioned from the Prophet ﷺ, that in this gathering that we've had, purely for the benefit of the sake of Allah, that He will, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will mention to His angels our names that we gather, that we gather for His sake, and that this will put us on Yom Qiyamah into the paradise, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I would like